Welcome back, my fellow Chibits, to another season of Gate. Gate Season 2, Episode 1, or some may call this Gate Episode 13. Regardless of however you title this episode, it is finally back after its break, and we are diving right into where the story left off in the previous episodes. Now, gotta say, I'm glad to see it back. I'm very glad to see Gate back, because even though it is not the most original and the best series of all time, like I said in my previous reviews, it was very entertaining, and I enjoyed watching it week after week, and so I'm very glad to have it back. It's a good series to watch on a Friday, and it really just gives me that entertainment I love from anime. So, diving into what is currently going on. So this episode can be kind of split up into two halves. The first half is focused on introducing this new prince character, and then the second half of the episode is kind of slowly building up this this group of girls that were whores, and also you have it to where there's an earthquake is going down. So let's talk about the prince segment first. So when it comes to the prince, my first impressions, damn, that fucking scene with the bunny girl. Whoa, I'm surprised, like, as I've said before, I'm an anime only, but I'm surprised something like that was shown. Like, regardless of it not really showing anything, we still just saw the shadow behind the curtain, and we still know what was fucking going on. It was very obvious. He's just sitting there, yeah, you're spanking the fucking bunny girl's ass, and I'm like, yo, This stuff right here usually is censored. Like, I'm surprised that was not censored. Like, I'm really surprised. Like, it was censored, but usually when it comes to stuff like this, anime tend to kind of just completely axe this shit out. I've seen a lot of anime do that, and seeing how that was not axed out, I actually have to give my compliments to the studio working on Gate, because that's surprising. I'm really surprised to see how that was not censored. Even though it might have been censored, it still showed quite enough to get the overall picture of what type of character we're dealing with when it comes to this prince. He's very prideful, and he thinks of, these animal girls as toys, which is very fucked up in general. So, that guy, fucking asshole. He's an asshole. But damn, dude, I just cannot believe we saw a scene like that in this episode. Definitely one of the, I guess, iconic moments of the series now, because that was something I never saw coming when it came to Gate. But let's talk more about the first half besides that. So the first half is kind of setting up politics and getting to see where the senators of other states or, empire stuff, they're just coming together talking, pretty much continuing the negotiations we saw at the previous episodes of the last season. And you had to where Japan was showcasing their weapons and, what type of, artillery they have. And the senators and the people that are negotiating behind closed doors, they got to see what firepower Japan was packing. And I love that visual to when one of the senators, they turn around and they have it pop up in their mind, where their entire capital's on fire, and they see it to where Japan's just launching mortars into their base, and he freaks out, and he talks to a dude beside him, he's like, hey, we can't make them our enemies. That right there was fucking realistic. I gotta give props. I gotta give fucking props to Gate for making a very realistic scene, because let's face the facts here. If you saw a country have this type of artillery, fucking weapons like they did, they're ripping up metal armor like nothing with their guns, and then they shoot this giant fucking mortar, but a regular man can, man it, and it shoots a great distance and blows up, great radius, they're gonna be scared shitless, and if they don't even have close to that technology, they're not going to want to fuck with you. And so, it's kind of like Japan is putting on pressure tactics. They're pressuring their enemies into surrendering, submission, better word to say, because they don't want to fuck with them, because they don't have the technology to even go up against Japan. So that is really, really fascinating. I love that about this episode. That was a great moment of this episode. Politics, economics, and having to deal with, the horror of another country attacking you if you do something wrong. So, good shit right there. Very good shit. I give points to Gate just for that scene alone. Definitely made this episode very enjoyable just for that scene. Now, the second half of the episode, we move into the sexual transmitted disease. And that right there, STDs. That's something I didn't expect, also, from Gate. I guess it makes sense. I mean, they are in another world, and because it's a new world, there might be diseases that are not really found on planet Earth. And I think that's very intelligent how they're looking into sexual transmitted diseases through different, people, the animal girls and stuff, and the animal, humans. They're looking that up and seeing if it can probably come over to Japan. And that's really cool as well, because it shows that it's trying to be a little bit realistic. I mean, if you were to go into a foreign country, or a foreign world at that, and you don't really know much about it, you have magic, you have these, different type of species that are humanoids, you'd probably want to know more about, their biology, or, how the diseases work in this world. Like, what type of diseases do you need to be fearful of, and do you need to make cures of it, or do they have the same diseases that are in our world? So many questions right there, and I love the way that was done. And this overall first episode of Season 2, it tried to be realistic in a sense, in how this world is displayed to our country in general, because it's like this world is slowly starting to catch up to what Japan currently is at with their society, because you have to where Japan is offering them guns, mortars, stuff like that, showcasing weapons, and then also you saw to where the horrors that were coming to the doctor's office, they were getting birth control pills. So, pretty cool. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do you all feel about this week's episode of Gate? And tell me, are you glad to see it back? I have to say, can't wait for the next episode, because I want to see what's going to happen with the earthquake, because, I mean, that's probably going to cause some extreme devastation. I can see where Japan's probably going to have to put in some effort to help reconstruct the area, since it's going to be like a natural disaster area. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please be safe. Chibi out.